General Hospital actress Nancy Lee Grahn, known for her portrayal of Alexis Davis, has recently sparked significant conversation among fans due to her outspoken political commentary on social media. Grahn has frequently utilized platforms like Facebook to express her strong opposition to the political climate, specifically criticizing Donald Trump and the Republican Congress. This has led to a divide among the fan base, with some questioning her continuous posts and others commending her bravery in the face of backlash. Concurrently, her character Alexis is facing immense on-screen turmoil following the discovery of Marco Rios' murdered body in her law office, as well as navigating complex family dynamics involving Danny Morgan and a restraining order. I cannot hold this in anymore. I just finished reading the latest forum threads and catching up on the absolute nightmare happening in Port Charles right now, and my brain is completely spinning. Can we talk about this? I mean, seriously, am I the only one who feels like the line between Nancy Lee Grahn and Alexis Davis is just completely blurring at this point? I've been watching this show for over a decade, and I have opinions. I am sitting here late at night typing furiously because the sheer amount of drama both on-screen and off-screen is just too much to process alone. We need to unpack everything that is going on with Nancy, her social media, and the absolute hell her character Alexis is being put through right now, and let's just get right into it. People are constantly asking, what is Nancy suffering from? Because she is literally always posting her political grievances online. Every single day there is a new post, a new complaint, a new fiery takedown of the government. But you know what? I am so sick of people acting like she's committing some kind of crime by speaking her mind. She wrote on Facebook, "What is happening is inconceivable. The Trump administration and the entire Republican Congress have and continue to sign off on Trump's unimaginable, intentional cruelty." Bam. She just laid it all out there. There is no way that any decent human with a beating heart could possibly support anything directed by that administration, according to her. But the backlash? Oh my god, the backlash is insane. People are flooding her comments, telling her to stick to acting, telling her to shut up, telling her she's ruining the show for them. But she doesn't stop. She never holds back her opinion. And frankly, I kinda love it. Even if you disagree with her politics, you have to respect the absolute fearlessness of this woman. She knows exactly what kind of hate she is going to get every time she hits post, and she does it anyway. Some fans even commented with, "I commend you for speaking the truth, knowing the backlash you could face. Keep on speaking up, because the more people who support what is right, the faster we can right this country. That is exactly how I feel." Why should she have to silence herself just because she's on a soap opera? Because think about it, isn't this exactly who Alexis Davis is? Remember when they tried to make Alexis a quiet, submissive character? Yeah, didn't work then either. Alexis is a fighter. She is a lawyer who literally goes to bat for the underdogs, who screams at mob bosses, who stands up to the WSB, who doesn't take garbage from anyone. Nancy is basically channeling her inner Alexis Davis in real life. Or maybe Alexis is channeling Nancy? I don't even know anymore, but the synergy is undeniable. When Nancy gets fired up about political cruelty, it is the exact same energy Alexis uses when she's ripping a corrupt prosecutor to shreds in the courtroom. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, back to the point. Let's talk about what Alexis is actually going through on the show right now, because my heart is breaking for her. I can't believe they did that to her. I mean, walking into her own law office, her sanctuary, her place of justice, and finding Marco Rios bleeding out on the floor? Are you kidding me? Ross Cullum is a literal monster. The fact that the writers decided to traumatize Alexis yet again is just exhausting, but my god, Nancy acted the absolute hell out of that scene. So Alexis opens the door expecting to just start her workday. She had just told Marco to leave handwritten notes on a legal file. It was supposed to be a normal day, and instead, there is Marco, stabbed, brutally murdered by Cullum just because Marco stole Britt Westbourne's Huntington's meds. And Alexis cries out, "Oh my god!" And my soul just left my body, the sheer horror on her face. You could see every ounce of trauma she's ever experienced just come rushing back. The lighting, the blood, the sheer shock of it all, it was classic General Hospital drama, but it was so visceral. I was screaming at my television, and it gets worse, because who is standing right behind her? Danny Morgan. Jason's kid, her grandson. Danny is right there, seeing this gruesome, bloody mess. How much trauma can one family take? I am so frustrated with how the writers constantly put Alexis in these horrific situations. She is supposed to be a pillar of strength, but they just keep knocking her down. Danny is already freaking out because his dad is in danger, and now he has to witness a brutal murder scene? I know some people are loving this dark, gritty storyline with Cullum, but personally, I am so worried about the psychological toll this is going to take on Alexis and Danny. But of course, Alexis doesn't even have time to process the fact that her colleague was just slaughtered in her office, because Jason Morgan is dropping massive bombs on her. Jason is leaving town with Britt to hide from Cullum, and he wants Alexis to be Danny's guardian. I mean, I love that Jason trusts her, but the timing is horrible. Jason is currently getting arrested by Dante Falconeri in the parking lot because he is taking the fall for Rocco shooting Cullum. Yes, Rocco shot Cullum in the back to save Jason, and now Jason is sacrificing himself so Rocco doesn't go to prison. It is so noble, but it leaves Alexis holding the bag with Danny. How is she supposed to take care of Danny when she has that ridiculous restraining order hanging over her head regarding Scout? Willow Kane and Jin Sidwell are literally holding Scout hostage from her own family. Alexis has to beg Willow to lift the restraining order just so Danny and Scout can be in the same house. It makes my blood boil! Willow is the worst right now. I cannot stand how Willow is acting, being used by Sidwell to drug Drew Kane and keeping Scout away from Alexis. Alexis is fighting a war on multiple fronts. She has a dead body in her office, a grandson whose father is going to a WSB black site, and a granddaughter she isn't legally allowed to see. Sometimes I contradict myself, because I want Alexis to have all her grandkids under one roof, but I also want her to just run away and live a peaceful life away from all these mobsters and dirty agents. But she won't, because she's Alexis. Just like Nancy won't stop tweeting because she's Nancy. They are both women who see injustice, whether it's Cullum framing Sonny Corinthos for Marco's murder or real-life political cruelty, and they refuse to stay silent. They are fighters to their very core, and that is why I have been a fan of this character for so long. And don't even get me started on Rick Lansing. Rick is back, and he's defending Sonny against these bogus murder charges that Cullum meticulously set up. Alexis is looking at Rick like he's a ticking time bomb, and I don't blame her. Remember the panic room? Remember what he did to Carly? I am screaming at my screen every time Rick tries to act like he's a changed man, telling Elizabeth Baldwin that he wants a future with her. Alexis sees right through him. She knows that Rick is always working an angle, and having him back in Port Charles while she is dealing with Marco's death and Jason's arrest is just a recipe for a massive breakdown. It's wild to me how fans will cheer for Alexis Davis when she's ripping someone to shreds in a courtroom, but then they get mad at Nancy Lee Grahn for doing the exact same thing on Facebook. You cannot separate the passion of the actress from the passion of the character. That fire, that refusal to back down, that absolute certainty that she is right, that is what makes Alexis such a compelling character to watch. If Nancy was some quiet, timid person in real life, I don't think she would be able to bring that same level of intensity to scenes where she is confronting mob bosses or discovering murdered colleagues. I know the political climate is incredibly tense right now, and people watch soap operas to escape reality. I get it, I really do. But we also have to remember that actors are human beings with their own thoughts, feelings, and fears about the world they live in. Nancy feels that her life, and the lives of millions of others, are being negatively impacted by the current administration. She is using her platform to speak out about it. Is she suffering? Maybe. She is suffering from the frustration of seeing things she believes are fundamentally wrong happening in her country. And she is channeling that frustration into her art, giving us some of the best performances on daytime television. Just look at the layers of the current storyline. Marco Rios is dead. Jen Sidwell is flirting with Ava Jerome, completely unaware that his son is lying dead in the hospital after Lucas Jones desperately tried to save Cullum's life. The irony is sickening. Lucas saved the man who murdered his boyfriend. And who is going to have to navigate the legal fallout of all this? Alexis. Who is going to have to protect Danny while Jason is hauled off to Steinmeier? Alexis. Who is going to have to fight Willow for Scout? Alexis. She is the anchor of this entire show right now, and Nancy is carrying the weight of it all with absolute brilliance. So, am I the only one who thinks we should just let Nancy be Nancy? If you don't like her political posts, unfollow her. It is literally that simple. But do not sit there and pretend that she isn't a phenomenal actress who brings an unparalleled level of depth and emotion to General Hospital. The backlash she faces online is intense, but she handles it with the same stubborn resilience that Alexis uses to handle the chaos of Port Charles. She is not going to stop, and honestly, I hope she never does. I am dreading what is going to happen next week. Cullum is still alive, Sonny is being framed, Britt is having a massive meltdown at the hospital trying to see Jason, and Valentine is hiding in Carly's attic while Charlotte's dreams are crushed. The stakes have literally never been higher, but through it all, I know Alexis Davis will stand tall, and Nancy Lee Grahn will continue to speak her truth. Okay, I need to go drink some water and calm down, because my heart is racing just thinking about all this drama. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I seriously need to vent with people who actually understand this show.